Hey everybody, how are you guys doing this Saturday? I am making super gut yogurt. Meant to do that this weekend, and when a friend asked me for the recipe, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right, I've got that on the schedule. So here we are. And I've had a really exciting day because I played tennis today. I had a tennis social, and I played with another beginner that I practice with and two other gentlemen. I actually won for the women's division. That was so exciting, and they said I played really well. So that was so much fun. I'm so enjoying tennis. If you're not out there learning a new hobby in your 60s or in your 50s, you might want to rethink that. And what is it that you can get out there and do that's going to light up your heart and soul and keep you active? I love tennis because I can run around the court. I can be outside in nature. I could get sun on my skin. And I learned today that I don't play tennis well with a hat. And so I had a visor on, but I kept losing the ball right in front of me. And then I took the hat off and I did better. So I definitely realized that I don't need a hat on when I play, and the sun doesn't bother me anyway. And so that's a good thing. And the cat's coming up, so I'm going to kind of slap him off here. Get. That was Buddy. And I just don't want cat hair in my yogurt because I usually, when I make this recipe, I've noticed in the past that I would get some mold in it every now and then. So what I do is I actually boil the cups, and you can get these on Amazon. And I actually use this machine, and this one is temperature controlled, and you can set it for the right amount of time. And the first one I bought didn't have temperature control, so it's really critical with using El Ruderi that you have temperature control because you want it to be at 100 degrees. Excuse me. Using the Ruderi, and you can get the Ruderi now from Oxyceutical. That Dr. William Davis has his own brand through Oxyceuticals that you could get the El Ruderi and just open up the capsules. Oh my gosh, don't you hate it when your spoon falls into your stuff? Anyway, I wanted to talk to you and show you about making this yogurt, because if you really want to have good health in your body, you need to look at your gut. So if your gut's not functioning, your hormones aren't going to function, your brain's not going to do what you want it to do, and you're not going to feel good, and you might not get the weight loss that you want. So that is something to really think about what you can do. And running a Dutch test, that's what I do with all of my clients. I run a Dutch test to see what the bacteria is. There could be H. pylori, bacterial overgrowth. There could be not enough of the commensal bacteria that you need to help create the mucus that create and support your immune system. So that needs to be looked at and corrected. But one of the best things we can do to, and also, you could have small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Hi, Patty. Thanks for joining. If you have small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, you need Ruderi, because that's what's going to help move that overgrowth of bacteria that's pathogenic out of your gut and move it out through the colon, and you poop it out. So that's what you really want to do, is get rid of it, because an overgrowth of bacteria is never going to be a good thing. We want to have it out of the body, and you want your body to be able to function. But the really cool thing is when you get your gut focused on, you get better hormone health, because you're also going to get a better brain that's functioning. When your brain is functioning, you can focus more on all the lifestyle changes that you need to do to make your body powerful and excited. Because if you don't get excited, it's going to be really hard to do the changes that need to happen to get out and get the movement that you want to have. I couldn't run half marathons before I had this energy. I only do those half marathons now because I have energy. I've lit up. I'm writing my blog right now in between making yogurt. And I got kind of really excited about it. I think my ketones are kicking in, so that's good. But what I was thinking about is minding your mitochondria. If you don't mind your mitochondria, and if you don't activate your mitochondria, so this is in addition to gut health. If you don't mind your mitochondria, you don't have energy. You need to look at these mitochondria with little tiny backpacks on their backs. They're like little Pac-Mans going around creating energy and cleaning up your whole interior system, even through your brain. And that's one of the things I've noticed with people with Alzheimer's is they didn't have the right amount of mitochondria. And so for your muscles to work and be strong and activated, and for keeping the weight loss off that you lose, what we want to focus on is actually mining that mitochondria, getting that movement to keep the weight loss off. When you do that process, you're going to be more successful at keeping the weight off. Because if you're just diet, lose 10 to 20 pounds, and don't create a holistic low carb lifestyle, or even just a holistic lifestyle where you're looking at grounding, circadian rhythm, sunlight, movement. We need those as the animal species we truly are. We want to, when we're in our homes, we're like animals in a zoo setting, and we need to let ourselves out of the cages, get out into nature, ground and get the sunlight, and just feel better. When you do that, when you get sun on your skin, you get your mitochondria revved up. They're grabbing those ketones that you're creating when you're moving around. They're putting them in their backpack, and they're going around in your body, and you're making ketones, and they're helping you get energy for your muscles and to help you activate fat loss. So these are all things that we can do to get our body healthy. And if you're not getting or needing fat loss, but you just want to have better energy to reclaim your health and to not be sick, that's where the Rooterye yogurt also can come in. Because if you fix your gut, you fix your brain, you fix your body. All of that stems from your gut health. And so the Rooterye yogurt is just one step specifically. I do many steps to manage that, because we also need to feed our body and digest our food and get the right nutrition into our body so that we can have better health. So it can start with, opening up a book and figuring out, the super gut bacteria. I use the coconut yogurt because I can't do dairy. I have tried to do dairy. I have tried to do goat milk. I am highly red sensitive to dairy. It's one of the reasons I had so much congestion, inflammation, sinusitis, and bronchitis for dozens of years. And until I got rid of those, I could not get control of sorry, the cat's on board, the asthma, the sinusitis and the bronchitis, the prednisone, the breathing machine, and all the things that kept me stuck, sick and inflamed, and not being able to focus and concentrate on being healthy. That's kept me down for dozens of years. And that manifested in my 20s, late 20s. And so it took me until I was early 50s before I could stop having so big a reaction and to actually throw out my breathing machine. A couple of years into keto, I was able to throw out my breathing machine, no longer rely on inhalers, and not have congestion or trouble sleeping at night. Now, the one thing that I noticed this year when I tried to bring back in goat yogurt right at the end of my allergy season, it threw me straight into asthmatic attack that I hadn't had like in 7 years. And so just another reminder to my body that my immune system is not going to tolerate that much dairy. And so I just couldn't do it. And it was not a lot of dairy. It was just the wrong amount for the day that I had it, for the allergy season that I was in, because I normally can't have any dairy whatsoever during allergy season, or I could have more mucus. So that's one of the ways I control it. So when we get the super gut yogurt with the Rooterye into our body, we not only reduce our risk for SIBO bacteria, but we could actually reduce our risk for fibromyalgia. I've just had a client tell me that her fibromyalgia pain is gone. She's making the SIBO gut yogurt and doing her other protocol and processes and really dialing in what she needed to do personally for her diet. And she was doing carnivore a year before she met me, and she did get some results, and she got her diabetes more under control. However, she couldn't stop the pain of fibromyalgia, didn't know what it is that she needed to do next, and knew that for her to get control of her body and to live longer at 71 and to support her husband's health as well, they needed to do something. So they both got on a call with me, and I love seeing that partnership and working, because she wanted it and he was right behind her. And I saw her turn around and look at him, and he's like, get all the labs. And because if you do my 3-month program and you pay in full, you get the option to have If you're listening to this, I don't always offer it, but I can offer all 6 labs rather than 3 labs. And so that's what they did, so she could get all of the information that she wanted to figure out why she kept having pain, why she was having the fibromyalgia, and how she was going to get to the next healing level. And I tell you, the Aging Beautifully and Adventurous process that I've developed works. And it just lights my heart up to see these ladies drop their inflammatory reactions and stop their pain of inflammation with their autoimmune problems and get their health back, get their excitement back, get back to living. And so just figuring out here and there, adding different things in, making gut yogurt, getting out and getting movement, doing some exercise, creating a new hobby, all of these things create the lifestyle of living a life of adventure so that you can stay upright and live longer into your 90s, because this is all about reclaiming your health, living longer into our 90s, upright, staying active, and having our own homes and not living in a nursing home. I had a lady, another FDN, talk to me, and she's following me, and I'm like, I'm so honored that you're following me, because she's also very accomplished as a woman, and she's got 5 grandkids, and she goes, no, I'm not strong enough, or I'm learning to be strong to get those car seats and my granddaughters out of that car. I need to be strong. And so we need to think about that. We need to develop our grandmother body. We need to be stronger. We need to stay healthy. We need to be active and be able to get up and off the ground. These are all the things that we want to do. So when you get your gut straightened out and it straightens out your brain and brings back in the excitement, you're able to get more movement and get stronger and figure out the next steps that you want to do. So what I like to tell my clients and people who follow me is just focus on the first 10 to 20 pounds of weight loss. Get that inflammation reset and reduced in your body. Reset your metabolism. Stop the inflammation. Stop the pain of inflammation. Get your energy back, and then move on to next steps. That's what you can do. Everybody's going to be in a different place, and all my clients have been in different places, and I just work with them where they're at and take them where they need to go. So if you're interested in this, and you want to get on a free call and talk with me and chat with me, I don't do hard sells. But if you want this and you're determined to reclaim your health and get that 10 to 20 pounds of weight loss and get rid of the pain, the pains of headache. Oh my God, my client Leslie is like headaches and fatigue and depression for years gone. And just figuring out what the next steps are for herself to live without the pain, to live without relapse, and to get all of that bacteria that's overgrown. Because when I look at their labs and I see what their guts look like, it's like lit up like a Christmas tree. And you need to take care of that overgrowth of bacteria to take your life back. And you need to reduce that, because if you don't reduce and kill off the bad bacteria, what you're going to have is autoimmunity. And it's going to develop. I'm just looking at my new client's lab. I just did her protocol yesterday. I spent a couple hours writing it all out and typing it all up for her. And you know what? I noticed when I was going over her labs from 2021, because she's a repeat customer, and then looking at her labs now, all of her bacteria that's overgrown, opportunistic and pathogenic bacteria, are elevated more. And so for whatever reason, we didn't get it all taken care of, or she didn't follow her protocol all the way. I'm not quite sure, but it just still continued to grow. And now we're going to attack it and get rid of it and focus on getting her gut back on track. And so that's what we're going to do. Get rid of those bad bacteria. You want to kill it off. You want to get rid of the candida. She's got some candida that needs to go away. She did have a little bit, a possible starting of candida back in 2021. And that's something I'm looking at now, because on her MRT she had sugar, and that can be a precursor to candida if you're coming up sensitive to sugar. So now she is sensitive to a lot of things, and her pattern has definitely come up with candida. Shows it on her MRT. And so if you got a candida, it's going to cause you to crave more foods, and you want to be aware that it's not necessarily willpower. You are not broken. It's not about willpower all the time. It's about how do you get your power back? What do you do to turn off those hungers and the cravings so that you can focus on lifestyle changes to get rid of that candida, to get rid of the cravings, to get the choose to have and eat the food that you want to eat. Now this afternoon, right after tennis, I had a hamburger salad. I loved it, ate it all. People are always surprised that I eat the same thing every time, but when I'm at my tennis club, I always just get a hamburger salad. And now I got an extra $25 gift certificate from winning my tennis game with the ladies. I actually got first place in the ladies, so that was pretty exciting. My very first time that happened. And I got a $25 gift card, so that'll pay for my next meal. So that was pretty fun. But what I wanted to say was when we actually get everything controlled in your body, then your energy is better. When you correct that overgrowth of bacteria, stop the pain of inflammation and correct that gut dysfunction, the candida, the H. pylori, all that bacterial dysbiosis, then we can correct our gut more. And that then supports our hormones, because then you'll have more energy for hormonal balance. But if you're stressed and your cortisol levels are up because your body is stressed and your gut is stressed, then your hormones are going to be more flatlined and you're not going to have the adrenal health that you want to have. And that's where grounding comes in. I was listening to another doctor talk about in the past, before he realized what was going on in his body, he did come up with a heart attack and he had to go to the hospital and get a stent. But one of the things he noticed is that he had a lump in his legs with the veins, and since being on low carb nutrition, that has gone away. And I think that's really powerful. And one of the things he noticed or mentioned was grounding. Like, what if you could get outside and put your feet on the earth, on the grass, in the dirt, and you reduce the inflammation in your legs and can have less blood clots? I don't know if that's actually what happened, but what if, I don't have any varicose veins. I can wear this dress that I bought in Red Lodge, Montana. That's just this little pink shirt that looks like a dress when I put it on, because I'm 5'4". And I told the shop lady at the time, I said, I could wear this. My legs are good, And so that's what I do. I could wear a little short dress like that because my legs are good. They're healthy at 62. I don't have varicose veins. I don't have any problems. I have strong legs. I'm excited about that. I never had a lot of beauty growing up. I was overweight most of my life at 225 pounds, and I was mousy, repressed, depressed, and all that. I didn't live life. So it's exciting to me now to have reclaimed my health and to know that there's things like making super gut yogurt that we can do to fix our gut and fix our energy and fix our hormones and get a brain that functions so we could be excited about life. That's what I wanted to come on and tell you today as I was making this yogurt, because I'm just excited. My ketones are on. That's why I've got all this energy right now. And what I was talking to you about my hamburger salad at tennis, but what I had wanted to get to from there is I have the Prime Protein, and I took a nap, so I got about 5 minutes of deep sleep and about 16 minutes of REM sleep. So after tennis, I just decided to go ahead and take a nap because I had a skin reaction to a cream, and it's been keeping me up a little bit at night. So my skin is finally settling down and I feel better, but I haven't had really good sleep the last couple of nights. And so I just decided, tennis, a hot day, a good meal, I'm just going to take an hour nap, and it felt great. And then I got up and I fixed myself a coffee, vanilla protein ice cream shake. And I put my mashed brownies in there with coconut, so I kind of make it like a little snack. And it was 20 grams of protein plus coconut chips and one of my low carb brownies, and I chopped that all up and put it inside there and ate that, and that was so good. And then a couple hours later, I made a strawberry one, and this is what's actually created my ketones. So it didn't throw me out of ketosis, and it didn't raise my insulin levels because I wouldn't have ketones otherwise. Then I added some matcha to that one, some spirulina to that one, a couple of drops of monk fruit, and just like a quarter cup of blueberries to that. Since it's summer, I am on a low carb diet. I'm not full on carnivore, but there's days where I will be carnivore. But right now I noticed I like a little bit colder food, and this is one way that I have lighter meals that are colder and more. And I live up in a desert where it's 100 degrees out here, so having a nice cold shake like that just makes it just feels good. Summer, it feels good. So a little cranberries or a little bit of blueberries, And it didn't raise my blood sugar, so I'm excited about that because otherwise my brain wouldn't be working. Because that's the one thing I love about low carb living is I can keep my ketone levels on, I can focus, and I can feel good. But as soon as I overeat, or if I bring in too many carbohydrates, I will drop my ketone levels, and I just can't function. I function really good with the ketones, but I have always been a low energy person and need to be on a low carb lifestyle to keep myself from having asthma, to keep myself from having depression and arthritis too, because my knees used to be sore. When I was 225 pounds and even 185 pounds, I had sore knees. They were degenerating. And I know this because I was training for the Grand Canyon, hiking down to Phantom Ranch. And I was practicing for a whole year here and there, and my knees were always sore. So then on the day that I hiked down to the Phantom Ranch, the Grand Canyon, it took us like 8 hours. I hobbled down. I wanted to be there, and I did it, but it took us a long time. And my husband was a little worried at the time because he's like, oh my gosh, they say it takes twice as long to come up as it did to go down, and it took us 8 hours. He thought it would take us forever to get back up. I didn't have any trouble going up, so it only took us 9 hours to get back up from the valley all the way up to the top, which was probably about average, but that was my very first time, and we weren't very fast, and my husband's electrolytes were off, and so he had to stop more often than I did on the way up, which was interesting. But what I was getting at is I don't have any knee pain anymore. All of that knee pain and arthritis and degenerating issue is all gone. All of my mineral management is on track, is good. I'm able to not be nauseous. If I dial in my minerals correctly and get the right amount of salt, then I don't have an issue with my minerals, and I'm able to get more movement. So those things are always critical to do. And so living a low carb lifestyle, getting the ketones, not having to live with a dysfunctional body, being able to move when I want to and feel great when I need to is awesome. And my client Loretta mentioned, she said, nothing tastes as good as energy feels. And so that was a line I just put in my blog. I'm writing up my blog. I took a break from writing my blog to put the yogurt in its container so I could get it started. And I was just so excited about it because it just lights my heart up to know that my lifestyle and everything I'm doing, it can be inspirational, motivational for you, for my followers, my friends, my family, and all my clients to just get out there and explore the possibilities of low-carb nutrition and holistic lifestyle, because the alternatives are getting sick and having to deal with cancer, Alzheimer's, and just letting your body age too fast. But what if you can slow all that down, stop the pain of aging, age with excitement without pain in your body? Like me, I don't have any pain in my body, except for today I pulled a hamstring, so that doesn't count because that's just a temporary hamstring. But I don't wake up stiff or with pain in my body in the morning. And so those are some things to think about, like what body do we want to live with? Can we make changes? What are the root issues that we want to address? What can we address? What can we do? And when you work with somebody like me, a holistic low carb practitioner, who studies functional diagnostic nutrition and applies it with her clients and has clinical experience as well as lived experience from obesity, that's powerful, I've discovered, because my clients get results and they stop pain. And if you go to my website, you can see all the testimonies, and you can see I have a new page that I put up to get yesterday that is all of my podcast and YouTube's all on one page, so check that out. And super excited to have that all in one spot. And it's just so exciting to be able to come here and let you guys know that there is a different way to live. You're not going to get it from your doctor's office. It starts in the kitchen, like this Cerebral Gut yogurt, and it's about fixing your digestion, fixing your gut, supporting your hormones, seeing what's next to do. Start with 20 pounds. Turn off the pain of inflammation. Get that organized. That's the first step. Find out what your food sensitivities are. Get your minerals balanced. That's huge, huge for the next step. I have never gained back the weight that I lost, ever. I lost 20 pounds and then nothing for 3 years. And I had to heal my gut. I had to heal my hormones. I had to
purge the vegetable oils out of my cellular system. I had to bring in the collagen. I had to learn what I was doing. I had to be motivated as well. We all need to be motivated. And I needed to know what were my next steps. But I never gave up. I had been so broken and so left behind with life that I didn't want to live there. And sometimes we need to figure out what we want. And even if you can't imagine it, take it in steps. Do the first 30 days. Lose the first 5 to 10 pounds. Keep building on top of that. Never give up. Keep going with it. Figure out what your next steps are. And if you want help implementing this lifestyle and you're aging beautifully and adventurous life, to turn off the pain of inflammation and to stop that disease process, because we all have it building in our body. Back in 2017, a year after I started keto, I detoxed melanoma from my body, right out of my neck, and nothing since. Time will tell. But that was the only symptom I had, but that was my bullet. And I remember thinking, I've got bullets after me. Which bullets? What are these bullets doing? But I felt like I was just ahead of them. And I was on a race to figure out how to stop those bullets from reaching me and not having diabetes, not being obese, not dying like my elder sister who was 400 pounds. And even more tragically, my latest sister died from cancer. And you know what I heard recently, which is the saddest thing, is they're saying that cancer is on the rise and it's just coming out of nowhere. And people are going from stage 1 to stage 4. I heard that yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what happened to my sister. She didn't plan it. She didn't expect it. She was stage 1 breast cancer. Next thing you know, they're telling her she's stage 4 liver cancer. And so what can we do? What are the ifs and whats and buts that we can do to manage aging young, beautifully and adventurously, and turning off the disease risk like I have, like others are doing? It can only happen on low-carb nutrition, because as long as you have sugar levels turned up and elevated, then that cancer is turned on. And so we want to turn it off. We want to reverse risk for disease with what we eat and the nutrition we have, what we do with our gut, eating SIBO gut yogurt, and getting outside and grounding and living a movement lifestyle. Those are all things that we can do to get our body to turn back up. Okay, guys. I'm going to get back to my blog, and if you want to get on my email, just DM me your email and I will have it. It's going to be a powerful blog, and it's going to be on my website as of tomorrow. And if you don't get on my email, you can see it there as well at loriblue.com. And check out my YouTube page on my podcast features, as well as my testimony page, and let's get you activated. Let's figure out how you can get started. There's many ways to work with me. I've got single calls. I've got 30-day calls. I have just 30-day support days at a time. You don't have to run the labs. I could guess. There's certain things that I know you need to do. It just all depends on what your budget is and how fast you want to do it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.